Before I talk about leveraging technology in chronic disease management, let me just give you a little bit flavor of, can hear. Okay, can you hear me now? Thank you. Let me just take a couple of minutes to talk about a layer, what we are doing in chronic disease management area. Just to give you a little bit flavor of a layer. The company is involved in two areas, point of care diagnostic and a layer, what we call health management. There are 11,300 employees. We are in 24 countries and with the revenue of 2.4 billion. Just to give an idea, in diagnostic area, how is this? If you look at on the right-hand side, diagnostic, we are in cardiology, women health, infectious disease, and the left is our health management side of the business. This is a slide. If you look at the left side of it, 80% members, it costs 20% if you're healthy or you are at minimum at risk. But your 80% cost comes when you go beyond it. When you get into a chronic disease, risk management, and you get into a case management situation, that's the highest cost as far as the health cost is concerned. That's to 80% the cost is then. So really, in order to manage it, you need to manage patients before they get to a chronic disease situation. Here we're talking of chronic disease management, a diagnosis of the disease condition, its management, and monitoring and therapy compliance, three aspects of it. If you look at our focus on chronic disease management is diabetes, cardiovascular, and obesity. I'm a typical example of it in front of you. BMI of 35, recently diagnosed type 2 diabetic and hypertension. So this is the lot of population is going to look like. And it looks, the first is to prevent that, and if you have not prevented, like I have not, how are you going to manage it? That's what it's all about. And how technologies are going to help you to manage that. You have all heard about the statistics. I'm just going to go through very quickly. You're looking diabetes, the number one, 285 million people in the world. That's going to grow to 430 million according to WHO by 2030. That's very alarming. India alone is between 45 to 50 million people, which could double in 20 years. This is not including pre-diabetics, which is even larger number, like 344 million. That's an alarming number, which will also go to 470 million people in 20 years. That is the number one disease, non-communicable disease, which is going to eat a lot of money, because this is the mother of a lot of problems which you're going to have as you grow older. Same thing is with heart disease. That's number one. Number two, if you look at 30% of all death occurs because of cardiovascular problems. In the United States, 100 million people have high cholesterol, but only 10 million people are being treated. So, and this happens at mid-age of your life. So if that's the situation, your productivity decreases. So this is a second problem which we need to address it. Of course, obesity is the new phrase, new United States and rest of the world. India is catching up with the United States, unfortunately, in this situation. And estimates are 1.7 billion people like me who are overweight or obese, and that's going to increase further, which is, if you think about it, even diabetes and cardiovascular, obesity is really, if not the genetics, is the main origin of it. Now, in technologies, I'm going to take two major areas I want to talk about it, which is a little bit different than my former speaker have spoken. We believe that point-of-care technologies is really a technology which is going to add to in chronic disease management. And obviously, as everybody else has talked about it, it's a wireless communication. Why point-of-care technologies is very important? Because they give you instant results in minutes. Testing can be performed by healthcare provider at the spot, or self-testing, similar to glucose testing, which is becoming more and more common and will become more common for various other chronic diseases as well. It allows you to take very immediate action, and it improves the quality of the treatment. So point-of-care testing, which is not that common in India yet, but will become common, very common in next few years. I'm just going to run through a few examples. Like this is an instrument which we call LDX, which will give you lipid profile and glucose in 5 minutes. If you want, you can go to our stall and get it done. It just takes 5 minutes and will give you right away, and then you can treat your patient while patient is still sitting in front of you. So, and these are not going to be very expensive, less expensive than when you're sending your patient to the hospital lab or some private lab. This is another example, A1C, hemoglobin A1C. It's a tool which we are using monitoring diabetic patients. Right now, you have no choice. You send it to the lab. Pretty soon, in the next few months, we will be bringing very inexpensive tool to India, which you'll be able to do as a doctor at your office, and you monitor your patients every 4 months or 6 months. It'll be rather inexpensive. It's not going to cost you 400 or 500 rupees, which costs today. Our goal is to bring it like at one-tenth of the price, so that it can be used by many more people. I, for one, truly believe, some of my medical colleagues will probably disagree, that in next 5 years, you are really going to see hemoglobin A1C being used as a diagnostic tool to identify patients who are diabetic. I think that will be a tool. Right now, the limitations is the expense, which will be overcome by companies, diagnostic companies. So it will become very much less expensive, and that's where you're going to diagnose. If you can screen 100 million people in India with a very low-cost device, it will change the whole spectrum of it. It is the most difficult challenges to identify diabetics and pre-diabetics. And like as WHO says, 6% cutoff level will give you 90% identification of who are diabetic. So our goal is to provide an inexpensive tool which will give you as accurate results as you're going to get from a lab within 3 minutes sitting in front of the doctors. We are bringing another tool. I'm just trying to give you some examples of it, where the technology is going today. BNP test, which will give you the status of if you have a heart attack, how you're doing it. This is not available anywhere in the world today. We'll be bringing in India in next 2 months. We're using a finger stick, 12 microliter of blood. You'll be able to do BNP biomarker at your cardiology practice, or patient can do themselves and see how they're doing it over a period of time. This is the technology revolution which is going on, where companies are trying to bring the product at the hands of the people themselves, self-monitoring. If you think about it, what the future is going to be looking 20 years from now is going to be essentially, how am I doing it? That's self-monitoring, and you're going to see that. And the technologies are not evolving, they're already here. They're going to get implemented in the next few years, where you will be the master of your own health. Of course, with the help of the doctors and the hospitals, but you'll be able to manage it. That's where the world is moving. I'm just going to take a couple of more now, technology, wireless technology, how that's going to help. Like we have a device, just as an example, we call it Day-Link Monitor. It can sit at your home, and you can connect. If you have blood glucose monitoring device, it's wirelessly can collect the data. If you're weighing yourself, there's electronic weighing, it will collect the data. If you have a blood pressure monitor, that's connected to it. So all of this information and all of the questions which this machine will ask you, you can plug it in, answer it, and this can go in a central location. Physician can see it, you can see it, any other health provider can see it. So this is already there. We have thousands of those units right now in United States. We have, next year we're moving in Europe, and then obviously we hope to bring it to India. It's not very expensive, but this will allow the information, vital information, to get from patient to the healthcare provider. This is just an example of a slide, like daily weight. The weight is electronically hooked up. This is if you are a, let's say, heart patient, and weight is very big issue for you. It can be measured, and on the left there are some questions which can be answered. And again, you'll be able to see what's happening to the patient. This can be, thank you. This can be looked by your physician, your health coach, nurses. So I think this is just an example of it. Again, same thing with diabetic monitoring. It's already hooked up with Day-Link Center. I'm going to move quickly to another device. This is an Apollo system, which we'll be bringing next year in 2012 to India. It's already in the United States for several years. Our company has spent millions of dollars on it. We talk of cloud computing. It's here. That's what this Apollo device is all about. It connects all various systems. Lack of time, I'm just going to skip quite a few slides. Basically, it will take all data sources and will put in a layer longitudinal record, and again, it will move to a layer personal health record, which can be viewed by providers, individuals, and nurses. This is already there. This is not something, it's just bringing it to a different part of the world. That's where we are today. This is again, from this device, you will be able to see the data. If I'm a nurse sitting and I have 500 patients, it's going to pop up and tell, so-and-so is having problem. You can call on the phone and you'll be able to access it. So this is the beauty of it. So there'll be intervention by the health professional just instantaneously. This has been a multi-million-dollar program. Again, this will input the data from your smartphone, via portal, in person. Also, you can enroll it. You can, it's an initial user engagement and ongoing engagement, all electronically with this Apollo system, which is the software which has been developed by the company. And I'm going to move quickly. This will also allow you to build, with the electronic medical record. It will exchange with, in the United States, especially regional HII and state-wise, an interface. And a layer Apollo system will accumulate all of the data. And again, on the right-hand side, you can see that you can see the value of it in improving the health of it. Just to give you an idea, in the United States right now, we have 200,000 actively managed participants on this Apollo system. It has 680,000 active health portal users for it, and we are covering 23 million lives today in the United States using this Apollo system, which is a very interactive system. And again, this has been able to reduce the healthcare cost tremendously and also able to provide a better care at a small time. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you.